Hey, it's Kevin with the New Warehouse Podcast, bringing you a new episode today. And on today's episode, I am going to be joined by Maïré Bavarday, and she is the CEO and founder of Ecomspaces, which I've been wanting to talk to her for a while on the podcast. So I'm very excited to get her on today and learn about what she's building, what she's been building with Ecomspaces as a creator, accelerator space for e-commerce, but also 3PL fulfillment services as well, doing a lot of interesting things. And my understanding is just going through a facility move as well. So I think we're going to hear a little bit about that too, and very interested to learn more about her business and how she got into this. So, Maïré, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, well, thank you for the invite. Super excited to be here finally. I heard a lot of your podcasts, so
Oh,
I'm
thank you.
happy. Yeah.
Good, good. Well, I won't put you on the spot and ask you what's your favorite one, but I appreciate you listening, definitely. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Ecom Spaces, what it's all about, and tell us how you got to the point of starting Ecom Spaces.
Yes, so I started Ecomspaces back in 2020. However, I had the first company that I started in 2013. That's how I got into logistics. Literally from my bedroom, I started selling stuff online. I was doing some type of I was selling things that people wanted to buy from
Mm,
France that they couldn't buy on websites in the US because these websites would not ship overseas. And I saw the gap in the market. And automatically, I don't know why I decided to do this because, mind you, I do not have a logistic background.
yeah.
I have a social work background. I studied in criminology, and but I don't know why I saw the gap and I was like, oh my god, let me start selling these products online for people. So I wasn't doing logistic per se. I was reselling, and then
Mm,
over time, the clients were asking me to buy on certain websites for them.
mm,
So from that, I created a parcel forwarding company called Relashop USA, and that company grew pretty quickly because the French niche was not tapped into at all. You have all these big companies like MyUS, Shipito back then. All of them, they were targeting other markets. And because of that, I didn't have to spend any marketing money. People found me. They were looking for me on Google. They heard on me from about me from social media, and I quickly grew the demand without doing anything. So
mm.
imagine doing this from your bedroom, then I upgraded to the living room. Finally, in the midst of this, I got married. My husband and I, we got a house, so I upgraded to the garage. And
From the bedroom to the living room to the garage. I like
exactly.
it. Okay.
And so it was pretty hectic in the garage. I was going it was going crazy. I was working from 7 in the morning to 1 a.m. at night every
Oh
day,
wow.
7 days a week.
Mm,
But I couldn't see the end of the tunnel, and I was literally going crazy. I was wondering how is this gonna change? I don't
mm,
have enough money to get a warehouse to get. I cannot get an employee at my house. I don't have enough money to get a warehouse, and I don't even know how to run a warehouse.
mm,
So I start looking at any warehouse companies that could do what I was doing with my process, and none of them wanted to do it exactly like I want it to be done. So I will have to change a lot of things, and then I was also losing the quality of the work, and it would be more expensive too. So I just stopped looking, and I decided to save money for a year and a half. I just saved
mm,
all the money. I didn't touch the money of the business. And then at some point, I was able to get my own warehouse and hire my first employee. So
mm,
from 2013, now in 2015, June 2015, I get a 4,000 square feet warehouse unit in a business center close to my house. I'm super excited. I'm like, yay. And but all of this, like the getting out of the house for a year and a half, it was a pure nightmare to see
Mm,
the potential of the business, but no support at all. I had nobody to help me. I was crying during the day, at night, like packing boxes, thinking, how is this gonna help?
mm,
And during that time, I told to myself, if I ever become successful with that business, Relation USA, I will want to help other founders so they won't have to go through all of this. Now, fast
I see.
forward 2017, I moved again to a larger warehouse, 20,000 square feet, with offices and a massive warehouse. And I was like, this is it. I can do what I always wanted to do. So I started to share the space with other founder in e-commerce. And quickly, I realized that they had the same issues that I had when I was working from home. So I
Mm,
was helping them with photography. They were asking me to do the shipping for them. So I was doing fulfillment before I even started Ecom Spaces.
mm,
And 2020 is when I decided to separate the fulfillment from the other company and also have a more structured business to support them. Not only shipping, we also help them with their marketing, branding.
mm.
We help them with strategic decisions that they have to make. They don't always listen to us and then they regret. We're going to talk about it later, probably.
Yeah.
But this is the whole what I experienced being in e-commerce and logistics, and the pain of it really is what made Ecom Spaces back in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. And with all these founders struggling, shipping at home, so they came to us. And
Mm.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. And I love the journey there and just I mean the grinds really, right? I mean going from 7 in the morning to 1 in the morning, just trying to figure it out and, upgrading from the bedroom to the living room to the garage, right? And then finally getting that warehouse space. I can imagine that was such an impactful day for you, right? And it's such like wow, like I made it this far, like I've crossed this river basically, and now I'm on my way potentially, and now you're here, and you just moved into a new facility as well, right? So tell us a little bit the ecom spaces, and I guess maybe first question is, do you still have the original business that you
Yes.
started in the bedroom?
I
Yeah, so you're
actually
still running that
do,
too?
and
Yeah.
I have a whole story about that as well because we're about to rebrand. And I had an intern that came back in 2017. She kept working
Mm.
with me as an employee, and now she's becoming a business partner because that business, I literally do not manage it. She's managing everything,
Oh, nice.
and we still do not do any marketing for it. We still have clients,
Mm.
but now she's like, okay, she really wants to do more with it. So I decided to partner with her and give her some equity and rebrand the whole thing.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice, very nice. Okay, all right. So now tell us from Ecom Spaces perspective. So you're helping these founders get, whether it's marketing, get their ecom brand off the ground, or just fulfillment services. I mean, who are you really? I guess who's like your target client? Like who is somebody that's like in Ecom Spaces or would be like a good fit for Ecom Spaces?
Yes. So we have, I would say, two different target audience. For sure, for the fulfillment services, we know that our
Mm,
ideal client, like everybody else probably in a
mm,
3PL, is someone who ships purpose driven. That's the non-negotiable. All these
mm,
brands have to be purpose driven, meaning that they created a product to solve a problem. They're not
mm,
just in it to make money. It's not like, oh, I'm looking for cool products to make. No, we want them to have a very strong story. I had this issue, or I have someone that I know that had this issue. I created a product to help them. It worked, and I realized that other people had the same problem. So I put this in the market.
mm,
And the other criteria for fulfillment, I mean, the sweet spot for us is a one SKU brand,
Mm.
and shipping at least, I would say, 100 orders a day minimum. But we have another side of the business where we help super small brands. They don't necessarily need to do fulfillment with us. And
Okay.
so usually when people are going to come on our website, they're going to do a quiz. And then from that quiz, we're going to send them to the proper channels. Okay, you ready for
Mm.
fulfillment? We can help you with that. And then we can help you with other stuff as well. If you're not ready for fulfillment, we have programs that can help them. So they can become a member, they can follow our workshops, we do an assessment of their business, and we identify the bottleneck, and then we focus only on that until it's solved, and then we get to the next thing.
Mm. Interesting. Okay, so it's kind of like a phased approach almost, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting. So, so I'm curious there. I mean, in your opinion, like for brands that are starting out, or maybe they're trying to grow and figure out exactly where their market is, and where are they going to connect and resonate, that they're going to start to grow that order volume. At what point would you recommend that they, because you've been through this, right? I mean, at what point would you recommend that they look to outsource their fulfillment or look at potential fulfillment providers?
I will say if you spend 2 hours or more shipping on your own, that I
Mm.
think this is time to start looking for a fulfillment center. But one thing we do with the brands as well is we try, and we have ShipStation that's actually helping us with that. Is we try to help them be more efficient. So
Mm.
it might take them 2 hours to ship from home, but if we can make them ship in an hour instead of two,
Yeah.
by being more organized, more efficient, using the right systems. I think it's good to ship on your own for a little bit in the beginning before you go to a fulfillment center. But time wise, I would say when you start being like 2 hours and more in your day every day, start looking at outsourcing because you need to focus on the things that you're good at. And
Mm.
shipping is like, okay, if your brand is going well and is growing, you're gonna have to focus on marketing, on customer experience, on all these other things to keep growing. The shipping gonna take that from you.
Mm. Interesting. Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to note there, because I think a lot of brands, right, like they want to focus on, I mean, like in my experience, not many brands come from people that have like a logistics or warehousing background, right?
Not at all. None of them.
Like you said, like you didn't have a background, right? And so when you start to put more time into trying to figure that out, and you don't necessarily have the background to really understand how to make it more efficient or how to make it faster, right? Or maybe reduce the cost there, and then you start to move away from the actual growth aspect, right? Which is like the sales and marketing and branding and things like that, I think, and product development. And you start to kind of take away from what you really need to be focused on as the founder of the brand, right? So very interesting there. So now tell us a little bit about when you decided to start offering fulfillment services. What were some of the challenges there? Because you've been doing it for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Which is one thing, but now you're going to work with other people that have ways that they do things, and maybe they have different requirements and different expectations. What were some of the challenges initially, and how did you navigate them when you started offering these fulfillment services?
The first thing that comes in mind is finding the right WMS system.
Mm.
Oh, that was really hard. And actually used ShipStation for a very long time because it was very cost effective.
Mm.
And yeah, I had a couple of clients on it for a very long time. But I would say the technology piece has always been a challenge in the
Mm.
beginning. Finding something that wasn't too expensive because you don't have that many clients, so you cannot really pay for it yet. And knowing that fulfillment was not the only thing we're providing. So remember, we have all these other services that we
Yeah.
provide. And so I never been actively looking for clients until this year. is literally now
Oh,
this
okay.
month that we're going to start reaching out to people. We never done that ever.
Mm,
And another challenge was indeed the different clients, the different processes, clients with 200 plus queues, and not knowing. So, when you start as a 3PL, I didn't know that a client with 250 SKUs would take so much space if and everything is not gonna move.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna make money with the storage. And then now looking back, I'm like, whoa, if things are not moving, the storage, you're losing money because I could have take other clients with
Mm,
less queues that were moving stuff, and these clients were taking the space because the space where we were at, the last one, became too small, and that was a big issue for us in January. I needed more clients, but I couldn't add more clients because I didn't have
no
enough
space. Yeah.
space because a lot of these brands were taking space. Yeah, so not knowing these things definitely became an issue after. But the whole process of trying to set up everything and figuring out processes and system, I really enjoyed it. And I even think that not having a logistic background gave me an advantage because I was very
Mm,
curious and
yeah.
I just invented some stuff that other warehouse actually saw and were like, oh my God, this is so smart. Why are we not
Mm,
doing this?
yeah.
And me knowing that I have a very limited staff, I don't have time, I'm super busy. I always pushed myself in finding the most efficient processes possible to pack very
Mm.
fast.
Interesting, interesting. Give us an example of some of these things. That's exciting. That's like the kind of continuous improvement mindset. So I'd love to hear like
Yeah.
an example of what's something you found that somebody else was like, oh, well, we need to do this too.
Oh my God, it's so hard to explain without showing a video or something. Something as simple as, so actually Shapiro is doing this now. They have this light to pack where they put clients who have
Oh, sure. Yeah.
a lot of SKUs at the packing station. And before they were doing this, we were actually attempting to do the light stuff.
Mm.
But we were doing like the we were calling it direct pack. Actually, we were calling this
Oh,
direct pack,
interesting. Okay.
and we put everything the way we also organize stuff in our warehouse. We had like the big racks, but under we had the rolling shelves.
Mm.
And sometimes instead of picking things in totes, it's actually faster to just carry this next to the packing station and then put them back in locations. So that
Mm.
was a
I
few
see.
things like this that we were doing that other warehouses were not doing, and they were like, "Oh my God, we definitely need to do that," because they all had static shelves, so the shelves couldn't move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Like, so you have basically some SKUs that were kind of like had a lot of orders or high volume, just like bring them right next to the
Mhm.
pack station, do the pick and pack at the same time, right? And you mentioned Ship Hero in there, and that's your WMS, right?
Yes.
So you mentioned in the beginning that was some of the challenge was like trying to figure out what WMS should I go with and when should I go with a WMS. So tell us a little bit about like that process and how did you end up with Ship Hero?
I actually discovered Shapiro in 2016-17. I already wanted to use it, but
Oh,
it was
okay.
way too expensive for me. I so in between I was using, of course, ShipStation, which is not a WMS, but I turned it as a WMS by using other softwares around it to pick.
Mm, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I tried a couple of them. Can I name them? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
I tried a bunch like Logiwa. We tried Ship Edge, and I never was satisfied with how this WMS system were working. And I always had Shipiro in the back of my head because I kept looking at the demo. I kept going on the website and looking how it worked. I think I did a call with them way back then. And I was just hopeless. I was like, oh my God, it's way too expensive. I'll never be able to afford this. And so all these years, I literally was just scrambling with ShipStation as a order management system and having all this thing around. But once we had enough volume and I could make it make sense to
Mm.
actually have a WMS system like this, we switched to Shipiro. And that definitely is worth the cost because it saves you three, four employees, I would say, in terms of what we
Oh
were
wow.
doing
Yeah.
before. Because before someone needed to add the SKUs manually every time we had a new client coming in. The clients they didn't really have a portal, so we had to do a lot of things for them. So on the customer service side, I was spending more money. On the receiving side, ShipStation doesn't have a receiving feature, so we had to receive things pretty manually.
Mm.
Inventory was always not totally accurate and clients couldn't see it. So it was a lot of issues like this that I was having people doing this manually. And once we had Shapiro, I could actually migrate these people to do something else
Mm.
versus doing these tasks that are now automated and in Shapiro.
Mm. Interesting. Yeah, yeah, and I think that's really interesting to hear those tasks that were kind of alleviated and been able to move somewhere else. Those workers and so I mean, what would be your advice there? Because I think that's an interesting point, right? And it probably something that a lot of people run into where they're like, oh, this software, like I feel like it could change my business, but like I just don't have like the money yet to do it. Do you feel like you should have invested in it earlier and it would have worked out, or like at what point do you recommend that people should invest in like a higher level software like that?
Me, simple. Once you have the money and you can,
Mm.
I just didn't have the money because remember
Yeah.
I bootstrap.
Yeah.
Uh, I received a grant, but that was way later in 2023.
Okay.
Prior to that, I never applied to grants, accelerators. I was literally in the warehouse packing boxes with the staff,
Mm. Yeah.
and so and I didn't have the money to invest in it. But what I will say is that as soon as I had enough money, I did it.
Mm.
And I saw the difference right away. So it's all about calculation. So calculate how much it costs you to pay certain people to do certain tasks. And then when you reach that level of, hey, this is how much it will cost me every month. Instead, if I had Shapiro, then now you can do that.
Mm.
Yeah, it's all about the numbers. We got to check our numbers and it needs to
Of
make
course.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. And so if we look at kind of the 3PL fulfillment provider space right now, I mean, obviously there's a ton out there, right? Different companies, and they're all kind of doing different types of things. And you certainly differentiate yourself in a big way, I would say, with the whole accelerator program and what you're focused on from clients that you want to work with perspective that are purpose driven, as you said. So if you look at and you've been doing this now for a while, right? Been in the game for a little bit. So, tell us a little bit about like what do you see in the 3PL landscape, and what's your view into what's going on out there?
From what I see, I mean, I don't know, I don't know everything, of course, but
Sure.
the feeling I get is that more and more brands want to have that personal approach. They want to be very in sync with their fulfillment provider, which
Mm.
mean, hey, how fast I can communicate with you if there's something coming up. That's a big thing with us. We communicate with our clients through WhatsApp. We can send photos immediately. Like, I mean, I say immediately, like within minutes, if they need something, if they need to see something. We also provide content. If they want some warehouse shots of us packing the orders, they just ask us simply in WhatsApp, and then we can provide that to them. And that's something that you don't see in a lot of warehouses. It's hard to I can imagine how hard it can be to implement in a large warehouse. But
Mm,
very like smaller 3PL, I think gonna be winning with this approach of being very intentional and personal with their clients and providing extra services that they need. Because yeah, I mean, once you get to the fulfillment center, if you used to pack from your house, you can do the content at your house. But once your
mm,
products are all in the fulfillment center, you want this, for example.
mm,
Another thing that I think makes a big difference with us is the fact that we work with smaller brands. And more than ever right now, I realize that if some of the small brands that we have, if we didn't have them, it would be way much harder for us right now in this economy. We've seen some very large brands dying literally around
mm.
January after Q4. Brands that used to ship thousands of orders a day will literally down to like 100 orders a day, or some of
Oh wow.
them bankrupt altogether because they mismanaged their money, or they had a really big high for years and then now it's they paying too much in paid ads, whatnot. um, and so these smaller brands that we get as members have a lot of potential. They might be small now, but we have a few that started in 2020. They might be shipping 200 orders a day. It's not that big, but when they started with us, they were shipping maybe 10. They were
Mm,
shipping maybe like 5, or some of them were shipping maybe 10 a month. And
yeah.
now to see that growth is gradual. And right now, they are the only brand that we see that are not decreasing their sales. They're actually very steady and they keep
Mm.
growing versus the big ones that had a lot of, yes,
Yeah,
let's
kind of
go.
like a skyrocket. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Interesting.
usually 3PL is going to go after the large brands. Of course, we need the mix.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not going only after huge brands. I'm also looking for potential, purpose driven. The founders super focused and they want this to work because they want to help people. So they're not
Mm,
quitting, and they have an audience that is like cult like. They want the
mm.
product. They will buy the product even if it is their last cents, basically. Yeah. There's some brands like
Interesting.
this,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So what? Because I think that's an interesting point, right? Because obviously, 3PLs want one volume, right? Because that's how they make money, right? But there is like kind of betting a little bit, right, on some brands where you're like, well, this is our minimum order volume, like you said, we look for 100 orders a day, like minimum. But oh, there's this brand. It's interesting. Like, what factors do you see for brands that are like coming up that catches your like? What's like something that would catch your attention to be like, you know what? I'll take a bet on this brand.
The story of the founder and how
Mm,
why they started the business, that piece is extremely important. And
mm,
also how good they can express and articulate that with their audience, with their community. Even if they have only 20 followers on Instagram, if I see
yeah.
that every time they post the 20 followers engage, I know that
Mm,
this is a winning brand. Like they're gonna do well. They're gonna grow at some point. And consistency, are they posting consistently? Are they trying to help people? That's another thing. If you try to
mm,
help people and you're not salesy, people who are salesy usually don't do well right now. But
yeah.
if you try to give value to your audience and you create that really that community where, okay, I created that product to help them, and even if they don't buy it, I still want to help them.
Mm,
That's what we want, because that's actually what we do too. We offer a lot of workshops, and we educate people online for free. They don't have to be members.
mm,
And because we truly want to help them, because I don't want them to go through what I went through. If I can stop you from making the same mistake I made,
yeah.
that's a win for me. Of course, we got to pay bills and all of this, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is coming on its own.
Yeah, and I think that's a very noble thing to do, right? Because you felt the pain, so you're like, I don't want anybody else to feel that same pain that I felt, right? Which I think is a very great thing for the industry and the community in general to be able to provide that. So now talk to us a little bit about, because we heard kind of the story and how you went from space to space and the 20,000 square feet, but you recently just moved, right, in the last like month, 2 months or so as well to a new space. So tell us a little bit about that and some of the challenges and why you chose to make this move.
Yes. Wow. I don't even know where to start.
Well, I didn't start with like why did you decide you need another space?
Yes, we needed a larger space because in January, I literally start January 1st looking at my phone,
Mm,
and I had over $100,000 in receivables that clients owe us for a while, for like maybe 2 3 months. And I
mm,
knew at that point that, okay, I might never see that money. These
okay.
were our top, I think I would say like three clients. They were shipping a lot. We upfront all the cost. And I was just like, oh my God, if I stop shipping, so
Yeah.
I had to take the decision, I need to cut shipping for them. But then as a founder, as the operator too, I knew that if we stop shipping for them, it's a lot of volume, then all the people I have at the warehouse that rely on this volume to work, they won't have any work. And
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then I start thinking, okay, maybe I should go and look for clients to replace them.
Mm,
However, our space was full. So the time
yeah.
it takes to get these people out, they have inventory, and they had a lot of inventory, which is crazy because they had more inventory than what they owe us.
Oh
Um,
wow.
uh, I knew that I had to do something. So it was very, very a traumatic time for me to decide, okay, what am I going to do? At some point, we were losing $2,000 a day
Oh my God.
because I
Wow.
kept the
Okay.
staff. I shut down
Yeah.
the account. So we were not shipping for them, we were shipping for the other clients. I didn't want to fire the 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 staff because
Yeah.
another thing is that the year before, it took me for a long time to make that team. So I had about
Mm,
like 15 people on the floor, trained them all last year, invested in a company office culture officer to make sure that
mm,
everybody's okay, train people, paid for training. So I'm thinking about all this investment, and I'm like, oh my God, if I let them go, they're gonna get another job. And even if I get
yeah. You got to
another,
rebuild at some point.
oh my
Yeah.
God, I don't want to rebuild this, I need to think and figure out what to do. So yeah, so for a little bit I was losing that money, and I was like, oh my God, what I'm gonna do? I cannot. Yeah. Then, so now let's go back a little bit. Back in 2023, I won a pitch competition named Black Ambition. It's an
Mm,
organization created by Pharrell Williams, the singer.
yeah. Oh, I
And,
think I saw your picture on Instagram with
yes.
Pharrell. I think, right? Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
And so I won the second prize. Actually, that money was the money that helped us stay in business when all of these
Oh,
things was
beautiful.
happening. Yeah, in
Yeah.
January and all of that. And but the money wasn't even the greatest thing about this competition and this organization. Is that they keep helping you after you stay involved with
Mm,
them. And the connection with Pharrell Williams was really, really great because he works at Louis Vuitton. He's
mm,
the artistic director for Louis
yeah.
Vuitton. And through him, last year, I had the chance to visit the Louis Vuitton facility in New Jersey, in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I went there, visited the space, was with the supply chain director or and the ops managers, all of
Mm,
them asking questions, and they're doing this. They're not handling their logistics themselves, so they have a very interesting partnership
mm,
that they're doing with another 3PL, And so the warehouse is there, it's their system, it's their processes, they own everything, but the day to day operations are run by a third party, uh, by another
Interesting. Okay.
3PL.
Yeah.
And they have maybe 5 people from Louis Vuitton, 5 or 10, I'm not sure,
Mm,
who work along with the other the under management team, and they are the one taking care of the employees, everything. And I
mm,
found this really interesting because I'm like, but I mean, it's Louis Vuitton. They have so
yeah.
much money. I
Yeah.
kept asking them last year, why are you guys doing this? Why you just don't do it yourself? And they kept trying to explain to me, but I couldn't get it at that point. So
Mm,
now, January, while I'm dealing with all of this, one of my client, who is German, has this connection with a large warehouse. They are freight forwarders. They have that big 100,000 square feet warehouse, a
mm,
little bit out of Atlanta. And that warehouse is literally empty because it's freight forwarding. So they have the freight coming in, but the freight is
yeah.
leaving.
Okay.
And just out of the blue, they were like, oh, maybe we should do a partnership with them, or try to do this partnership that Louis Vuitton is doing
Mm,
with them, because they're interested. They like want to know what we're doing. We need space. At some point, I was looking for a larger warehouse because otherwise I would be stuck in that loop. And so eventually we were like, okay, let's try to do this. And we had the Louis Vuitton team actually helping us drafting the agreements,
mm,
giving us the guidelines about how to make that partnership work, how to make it beneficial for us, but also for them, and to make it a long-term thing. And they literally gave us the blueprint, the agreements. We sit down on meetings with them, and yeah, that's literally how we
wow.
got there. So now the way this partnership looks is really amazing for us because that gives us access to a 100,000 square feet warehouse
Mm,
without the overhead, a fixed overhead,
yeah.
meaning that we pay for the space that we use. But the most
Nice.
important
Okay.
thing for us was that it's our system, it's our
Yeah.
processes, it's our shipping account, our shipping accounts. We work along with the team, with the management team, the operation manager, the supervisors, in making the processes more efficient. And I have some of my staff is there every day. So
Mm,
it's really, it's our warehouse, but it's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have the old warehouse still, or no?
Yeah.
Everything from there came over to the new one.
Actually, I wanted to get rid of the other warehouse, but
Yeah.
one of the clients that we have, because I didn't talk about this piece, another thing that differentiates us is that we really tried to provide everything an e-commerce founder will need to run their
Mm,
business, which is also space. And one of
mm.
our clients is literally doing his production in our warehouse. So
Okay.
they sell a detox tea. They
Mm,
make that tea in that warehouse and they ship it also from the. So we're
mm.
shipping it from the warehouse for them. And
Okay.
so it wasn't possible to move them to that warehouse. But what was great is that this client was outgrowing the space because we didn't have space even for us.
Mm, yeah.
And he started to look for a warehouse. But then when I was like, hey, we're going to do this partnership, then that just worked perfectly. He actually stayed. He has more space, and I have the staff to do the shipping for them.
Oh, very
Yeah.
nice.
So
Okay.
he didn't
So
have to change anything.
yeah, yeah. So everything worked out very nicely.
Everything
Yeah,
worked
yeah, yeah.
out.
And I did you ever get paid from those clients at
Still not.
January
Now
1st?
I'm at seventy
Oh,
thousand, so I'm 30,000
okay.
paid.
Oh man. Okay.
So I still
What
have
did
70,000, and that's a big point. I think in
mm,
the industry, I see more and more 3PLs complaining about this issue because
yeah.
we do net 7 or net 14. We used to do net 7, and initially that was okay until 2023. I
Mm.
almost lost my business because my clients were doing too well. So basically,
Oh
they
really?
start growing out of a sudden early 2023, and I always had a stable flow. So my cash
Mm,
flow was okay. It's like, okay, as soon as they pay, I have cash, I had cash saved, so we good. And then at some point, I have a client who 10x overnight. So of course
Wow.
the shipping cost, I have to pay the shipping cost,
Mm,
everything up front, the labor. And on top of that, people started paying a little bit later to keep cash on
mm,
hand as well. So all of this mixed together was an issue with cash flow. And that's crazy because now I realize you have the two different perspective. The volume gonna drop is gonna be an issue, or people are not gonna pay. But you also have the issue of people growing their business unexpectedly, or getting a new client that's too big, things of that nature. And of course, remember, I'm bootstrapping. So that's
yeah.
another thing. I didn't take loans. I didn't take I don't have any investors. And I wanted to stay like this as long as possible. So, oh yeah, that was pretty, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually very interesting because you think like, oh yeah, one of my clients 10x overnight, like that's going to be great for my business, and then you're like, oh
I
man,
didn't
like
think
how am I
about that.
gonna, yeah, like how am I gonna support this from
Yeah.
like the cash I have to put out up front, right, to pay for these things before I can bill them for that, right? So that's a very interesting point right there. Very interesting. So now tell us too. I mean, like if you look right now, I mean, like what's the biggest challenge for you as a 3PL right now? What, on the fulfillment side, like what is the biggest challenge that you're trying to solve or that you see in the market in general?
Definitely finding the ideal client. I'm
Okay.
lucky I have a couple of them, but now that I am going on that sales mode, oh, I have to actually get more clients. I have the space now and I need that volume. That's a huge challenge for me because I never experienced having to get clients. Even with the other business, that's not something that I'm familiar with.
Mm,
Even with the staff that I have, we're not wired, we're not trained to acquire clients because they all usually come to us. And but now, because we want to make sure we get the right ones, we have to, because a lot of the
mm,
leads we get for free are not the right
yeah.
people for the warehouse. Yeah,
Mm,
that's
yeah.
our biggest challenge right now, I would say. Being able to find these clients that are gonna fit with us, and not only in terms of volume, in terms of like being purpose driven and being aligned with our values.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Interesting. And I think that is it like a challenge because you gave a great example earlier in the conversation, right, where you're just starting out. It's like, okay, well, we take this client and they have 250 SKUs, and now we're like, oh wait, we don't have space for other clients that can do more more volume, right? So it's an interesting balance to figure out, like how do we, sure, you can go out and just get anybody, right? But how do you find people that align with like what you're trying to do with your business, how you're trying to grow it, and how you're aligned with like your values, like you said, and the culture of your business too, and do you work well together, like founder to founder as well? So I think it's very interesting there. Now, if we look at the future of ecom spaces, you have this new space now as well. So what does the kind of future of ecom spaces look like? What else do you want to accomplish?
That e-commerce accelerator, I really want to have that done. I think
Mm,
the goal for us always been to help purpose-driven brands that are overlooked, that have a lot of potential. And when you think about that number, 90% of e-commerce businesses gonna fail or stop in
mm,
4 months. So that's a big number. And so imagine the Shopify's and the Klaviyo's and
yeah.
the ship stations and all of them. They're losing a lot of money when these people are not subscribing anymore. So even for them, that's a huge problem. But for me, I see it more as a problem for the marketplace because some products are really good products. Some of the
Mm,
founders that we help have products that I use, and every time I'm scared, I'm like, oh my god, if they quit, I won't be able to use this, and I don't have anything else
yeah.
to replace it with. So no, they need to stay in business. Some people are literally, I believe, saving lives with their products. So for the consumer, think about it, like 90% out of this 90%, how many might be saving like 1,000 lives tomorrow or every
Mm,
day, you know? So if people knew about their products, this could make the business sustainable. And if we can help with that, we can help the consumers as well. So it's not only about the founder, it's even more about the consumers, because we
mm,
want good products out there. And one thing I always tell our founders is that if Coca-Cola is able to sell a product that we all know is killing us,
mm.
and we buy it and they sell a tons of it,
Yeah.
you can sell your, but you can be at that level. People need to know, you need to have, it takes time, you need patience,
Mm,
but it's possible. I mean, if others can sell products that are killing people, your product is saving people, your product should be in the marketplace. And the
yeah.
future for us is really this e-commerce accelerator. If we can build that, have the sponsors, the likes of Shopify, ShipStation, and UPS, you name them. You know, they're already helping us,
Mm,
and we can actually figure out that roadmap that we already have. We also slightly a tech company because we want to make this available for everybody globally. Our clients come from everywhere.
mm,
We have clients in Africa, we have clients from France, from the UK, from Germany, and yeah, make that global impact and hopefully help people.
mm. Yeah, I love that. I think that's such a great mission to be on, and I love that it's coming from that place, like you said earlier, that like you went through this struggle and this pain, and you want to try and make it easier for people, and I think recognizing that people are creating products that are really potentially making a difference in other people's lives, and being able to try and support that as much as you can, I think is a really great thing to do. So it's really great to speak to you today, and learn more about Ecomspaces and your entire journey and everything you've been through to get to where you are today, which is a really great place, and really appreciate you joining me. So if people want to learn more about Ecomspaces or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yes, so if people want to reach out to us, they can definitely reach out to us on our website, ecomspaces.com. And if they're interested in the fulfillment services or our membership, they can just go through the quiz and then it will direct them to the right service. They can also find me on LinkedIn as Maïré Bavarday.
All right, fantastic. And we'll definitely put all of that information at thenewwarehouse.com as well as in the show notes here. So thank you once again to Maïré for joining me on the show today. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, The New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesaresexy.com and get your own.